Okay. Uh, so hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Satyam. I'm Satyam Yadav, and I have been working on front-end development and web development in general. So I'm a software engineer working in web for around 8 years, and that too have been at Innovasor only. And I have been kind of into managing different architectures, different guidelines to streamline the UI development process. So, like, how many of you have tried building some website, HTML, or maybe some web applications? Okay, so almost everyone, right? So you know how tedious is it to write the HTML syntax, and after that maintaining the CSS too, like styling those websites, positioning those boxes and everything, right? Now, in current era at least, we are kind of using declarative basically frameworks like React, Angular, or whatever, Vue.js, all those, right? And this kind of build UI out of the basically code. So we don't simply write a document and see it. Instead, we write the whole code, and it is stateful and completely basically event driven, right? In browser, everything is event driven, and the whole UI is stateful, right? And that then we need to maintain the designs and the consistency in the applications, right? So for that part, we have design systems. So where we kind of basically design and basically document our principles, like what will be our language, nature, focus, and values in our product for the end user. And based on those principles, we provide guidelines and then we design on that, right? And post that design, we basically follow those specific design configurations. So if you are following Figma, currently Figma is like the best design tool, and it follows the schema based designing kind of a thing, right? So it can be themed, it can be maintained and all, right? So that way, we have all this in place. So we have a design system, that is masala design system. Yes. So masala is spices, and coming from India, it's masala design system. And we have around 60 to 70 applications. So at least 50, more than 50 web applications live in production. And we have around basically 100 developers working on those applications. To maintain the consistency in design and code for the interfaces, we have this design system and a library of components. So now what we needed is, because like before this it was tedious, everyone is copying, pasting, seeing the Figma, maintaining the design and all, right? So to remove that tedious work of copying, pasting, we came up with, also we tried whatever we have ready now. In future, maybe AI will be like generating whole applications, maybe the AI will be doing our job or whatever, right? But for now, what we have and what problems we have and what solutions we have, we just tried to compile it. So first what we started with is, we have a VS Code plugin, like a chat, where we can basically query on any existing example. So these are existing examples. So for the pre-defined examples, we have like around 1,000 predefined examples, like more than 1,000 predefined examples, because when we develop the library, we create different set of examples for all the use cases. So developers can directly open those examples, preview those examples, and copy paste it, like basically tweak the examples, preview it, and then copy paste it and integrate it. That's cool, right? After that, if any example does not kind of contain the use case the developer wants, right? So the same search box works as a natural language command prompt to AI. So we created a rack behind the scenes, behind this basically chat box. So there is a rack that contains all the examples of the component library and documentation part. Whenever we search for some custom use cases, it goes to basically AI and basically it takes the embedding for whatever query you are searching, and then uh, basically brings the context, and based on that context, so basically the context is some example similar to what you are asking for, because mostly this is uh, let's say for listing. So whatever you are asking for, that will at least have some thing to do with the UI, because you are building some UI page component view, right? So some example will at least match, and the GPT APIs will return according to that. So whenever the code comes over here, so basically you can experiment and all. So we started from here, and to do this the same thing, and it is not utilizing any server, so it is directly calling GPT APIs, OpenAI APIs from the VS Code itself. So this plugin is directly communicating with the APIs, and plugin itself contains the embeddings in JSON format, because this is not that big data and we don't need compute and everything for this kind of a solution. So just a second. Yeah. So like, anyone have any preference, like what you need to see it on UI today? Like a form, like a button, like a face, whatever. No. So basically, this is limited. Yes. Yes. So as I explained, this is limited to our system with specific components, like what you want to add into your page. Table with search filter. Yeah, that can work. You have 2 minutes. I have 2 more minutes. This is good stuff. You don't have some videos of that? I have the video. Uh, I have the video, and so basically, it is generating the code. And because I have not said like what in the table with filter, but with what data, right? So it will create some sample data depending on my examples. Nice. So, it takes me half a day just to build this. Yeah. So this is how it basically works, and and it creates a file over here. So basically, we can now update this file and see the results. Basically, tweak this file for our whatever changes we want in this file. And in future, we can simply right click and preview. So this preview will open. So this is like, don't go on any documentation guidelines or anything. You can simply see the design and work with this. Also, this works with the design. So if I go and so basically, as time is limited, I will switch to video, I think. So this video I created just before the session. So if I paste a video, if I open Figma and copy a layer, this layer, is it visible? Yeah. So if I copy the layer from the Figma this layer for the table and paste it. So simply copy it, select design, paste it, and then write some prompt maybe to support that design, and then generate it. Then again, it will generate in the same way. So this time the data will be same as what was visible in Figma. So basically, the idea is not that close because anyone can do this idea, right? The components and everything is open source. This plugin is not open source currently.
Right, the plugin is.
Yeah.
What the system instructions are.
Yeah.
If I ask you to show the system instructions, you want.
So this was for basically creating the components and like converting the design to code, right? But the problem is most of the time all the developers are not doing this. Now they want to improve in the same code base. They have the code base, they need to create new files, they need to make changes. So what I have done is I have done the same kind of approach for GitHub Copilot. So now we have GitHub Copilot in place. It aids the page completely. So it can now solve that problem, create a new page. So when I say create a new page, it creates all the files required, it's the route, it's the API call, demo data, and the page is live. And now for this, for the Copilot, because Copilot don't have like custom instructions format, like we cannot tweak it, we cannot provide drag or anything, right? But there is a, so this page I have created today only. Like this one, this one. So I will just take 1 minute. So this answers your question, creating the whole page. So basically you give the prompt like create a page, add a route with some component, fetch some data. It takes it up, and because it is GitHub Copilot has now ability to work with your context and create files. So it can create files and integrate it inside the same application. So the same basically kind of approach I have taken with the Copilot. In Copilot instructions, if like you guys have tried Copilot, it gives like weird suggestions sometime, right? But for Copilot, there is this file I will share on the GitHub or maybe public channel. Okay. So in Copilot, you can create a file for custom instructions. This instructs the Copilot to use R components only from the set of components and go through these specific files which define all the system level specifications. So because every project does not contain our source code of the library, instead we have kind of like I'm creating it still, so describing the whole code into a single file for like AI, and it can refer it and always follow it for code completions. So it's also working like, okay, that's my time. If like anyone have questions.
So thank you. Cool stuff. I mean, like I said, I struggle with UI, and I've been trialing a lot of tools on my own, even paying money. But everything just falls on that system instructions end of the day.
Okay, so this is the whole application it created.
Oh, okay.
With this is like with Copilot. I have just said create a page, listing page, detail page, and the point is it is using my components, my design, and kind of running in single like first prompt.
Okay.
So that's all.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. I will take questions like
later
on.
on.